Hello everyone and welcome to the Victory Forge. In this video, I'll take you through how I made this intricately detailed Wheel of Time world map. The first step in this process was to decide what I wanted to include and how I wanted to arrange it all on the map. So after my initial sketches, I went and purchased the paper and frame so I could then mock up a few different arrangements in full scale. After I'd figured out some dimensions, I found the fonts, information, and all of the references I was going to use for my full-size map. My next step was to get my backing mat ready, and I took the white piece of paper that came in my frame, traced the edges, and then cut away the excess. Now that my backing paper is the same size as my frame, I could take the paper I'm going to use for the map, find the center, and lightly trace the outlines in pencil. After lightly sketching all my elements onto the paper in pencil to check the spacing, I went back over with permanent marker to draw in the tops, bottoms, and sides of the frames, and adding the geometric design along all of the outlines. And after I had finished my edge design, I marked the several spots where elements of the map would break the frame. I then did a quick test of all my markers and pencils on some paper to see what it would look like before adding a grid and beginning the sketch of Randland. Flicker. For the sketch part of this map, I'm only penciling in the lines that are going to be black. When I go back and add the color, there's going to be even more details. With the pencil sketch finally complete, I could move on to adding color. To do this, I used a variety of watercolor markers, Sharpie pens, metallic paints, paint pens, and fine line calligraphy pens. I started with the banner, Rand sword, and Perrin's hammer, and moved along the ocean and coastlines, filling in the various monsters and islands along the way, until I got to the Great Serpent in the top left-hand corner. The Great Serpent in the top left corner was something that I would come back to many times throughout this project to tweak, change, or even at one point completely redo. Particularly the scales on the snake proved extra vexing. After finishing the ocean and coastline, I went back to the right-hand side of the map and started up, doing the Great Rift, filling in Shara, and then moving to the Aiel Waste. After finishing Shara and the Aiel Waste, I went back to Mayenne, moved over to Tyr, moved west and then up the coastline, coming back down and filling in, ending with the Great Blight for last. With the interior of the map finished, I went back to complete the frame by adding the Quendiar seals to the Dark One's prison in various states of decay in the corners, and coloring in the frame with the different colors of the Aes Sedai Ajas. At this point, I had been working on this project for more than a month, and while I had finished the hardest, most detailed, and the centerpiece of the map, the show must go on and I had to finish the rest. Using a table I found on the Wheel of Time Wikipedia, I selected some of the most important distances in the Wheel of Time, and then I printed off on construction paper a scroll so I could make the opening Wheel of Time quote and my distance references. While I was working on the smaller maps of Shara and the Empire of Seanchan, I went with a much smaller and more muted color palette, with the exception of a few particular sections being in full color. The final element of this project was to include the different banners, the Great Serpent wrapped around the Wheel of Time, the Aes Sedai logo, and the quote, "The wheel weaves as the wheel wills." After adding in a few finishing details and final touches, I sprayed the entire map with a matte finish, put it in a frame, and called it good. Thank you so much, everyone. I hope you enjoyed watching as much as I enjoyed my extended time working on this map. If you did like it, please remember to leave a like, comment, or subscribe, and you can also check out some of my other videos. Thank you again, and we'll see you next time on The Victory Forge.